Happy holiday.
Hey everyone, Scooby-Doo here and welcome to a brand new video. Today we're going to be working on that Kitbash Sandtrooper, but before we do, we're going to take a look at my Star Wars Christmas tree with the Death Star topper. It's from Hallmark. It's actually a remote. We'll just play it really quickly if you haven't seen it. And then we got the Stormtrooper helmet lights. We'll take a closer look. It also plays the theme to Star Wars as well. And it's something I've been doing for the last 3 or 4 years. Goes really well with the room, I think. Got all my Christmas shopping done, which I'm really happy about. Now this was the first year that I actually put it in the corner. Now if you remember, we generally have the FET here in the corner, which is kind of odd that I decided to put the Christmas tree here, but I did. And in doing so, because we put the FET back over by the Tatooine wall, which we'll take a look at in just a second, I think I'm going to keep them there, which is going to allow me to build yet another life-size figure in this corner. We'll be starting that project at the first of the year. So we'll go ahead and take a look. We'll go around the room just a little bit. I don't want to show you the Star Wars wall just yet because we're still working on it. That is, yes, another mannequin. You can guess what the new figure is going to be, but I decided to go ahead and keep the FET over here, and we're going to be working on some of the shelves as well on this side as part of our retro rebuilds. Alright, so let's go ahead and get to that Kitbash. Again, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's. If you don't celebrate Christmas, Happy Holidays. I myself celebrate Christmas. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so let's get started on our Kitbash and brand new displays. So what we're going to do first is I'm going to prep the two shelves that we're going to be using. This is actually going to be for the Sandtrooper, so we're going to be actually taking off these logos here because they're for the snow, and we're going to be adding them to the smaller shelf for the AT driver. And then we're going to prep this. We're going to, if you remember before, we're going to get this wet. We're going to scrape off the top layer to get the paint off, and we're going to make this Tatooine. And then we'll come over here and do the same thing. We're actually just, with this shelf, I'm just going to be using the logo because it's got the Tatooine color, so we'll be shifting that logo over to the other and vice versa. And then once we get all that done, then we can start actually on our Kitbash for our Sandtrooper and finishing up the display. So I'm going to go ahead and get to work on doing all that, and we'll be back in just a moment. Alright, so we're back, and you can see where I put the AT driver on his new shelf. And I have it paired up with the Luke Snowspeeder shelf, which is actually a Kitbash as well that I did about 2 years ago. And as far as doing Kitbashes, which we're going to be working on the Stormtrooper or Sandtrooper in just a moment, I generally like to keep everything stock, either Sideshow, Hot Toys, Medicom, but occasionally I will use like Force Toys for the Stormtrooper. I use a Hasbro Jabba 6-inch Black Series, which is right here, which I kind of did a repaint on. And then I also do this one over here, just to give you some other examples. This is the Gamorrean Guard Hasbro 12-inch, which I did a paint job on as well. But again, most of the time I use the Hot Toys and the Sideshow, and then occasionally do the Kitbash. There is another Kitbash that I am going to be doing on a separate video. It's going to be for the Slave Leia, so you might want to tune in for that if you're interested. But anyway, so now let's get on to our Tatooine Kitbash Sandtrooper. See here the shelf. It's not quite dry yet, so we're just going to kind of let that set, and we're going to work on our Sandtrooper and the Black Series helmet, which is right over here. So let's get this out of the way. And also too, I'm gonna be in a little bit of a rush because I found out that I have to give up this kitchen area pretty soon. My daughter's gonna be making Christmas cookies, I believe. So she needs to spot. It's one thing about not actually having an actual workstation and using my kitchen area. So for this, we're going to be using some tempera paint. I got black and the sand color, which I also use on my Jakku / Sandtrooper life-size figure. And we'll just move this over here a little bit. Get this into frame. And we'll bring our Force Toys Stormtrooper over. It's right here. Now, part of these new videos I've been doing is to reuse some of the stuff that I already had on the Star Wars wall. Instead of just buying new stuff, just kind of repurposing. So that's what we're going to do with the Black Series helmet. This is actually, and I have a lot of these. We're going to use the helmet that I used for the Moon Indoor diorama with the Ewoks. If you remember, I built about 5 months ago, because we had to eliminate that particular shelf when we're redoing the Star Wars wall. So what we're going to do is, I took off some of the grass that was on him and some other stuff, and we're just going to clean him up just a little bit, and then we're going to add the sand color, and then we're going to do the same thing with our Force Toys Stormtrooper. And the other thing we're going to be using is his backpack and pauldron, which is right here. And I got that from a Hasbro Sandtrooper, which is right there. And that's really the only thing I had to purchase for this particular segment. And for actually most of everything that I'm doing new with the Star Wars wall. Everything else I repurposed, all the shelves, did some repaints, and yeah, I was trying to keep costs down and try to use everything that I already have. So onto the actual tempera paint really quickly. I want to show you is I'm going to get the sponge wet, which I should have done ahead of time. When using the tempera paint, you can go back in and do stuff with it. So see here, if I wanted to take some of this off, I kind of wanted to leave that, but I just wanted to show you. It just cleans up. Now, lots of times when you're using the tempera paint, if you want to lock it in and keep it a certain way, just use either a gloss or matte finish clear coat, and that'll lock everything in, which I did on the Gamorrean Guard, and I've done on other stuff in vehicles. But with helmets, I generally, because it's so easy to do, I don't put a clear coat on it because I might want to change it. In this case, this is a good example of it. Now I could just go in and clean this whole thing off and it would pretty much look like the other helmet that I just showed you a second ago. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get some of this tempera paint and I'm going to put it in a little bowl here. And just to show you quickly on this Stormtrooper, I'm not going to take off his, I'm going to take off some of his armor because it's easy to take on and off. But like with his leg right there, I'm probably going to keep this stuff on. Obviously I can take his helmet off. And we're pretty much going to make this kind of match somewhat for the diorama. Okay, so what I'm going to do really quickly, because I just got a text from my daughter, she's out, and she asked me if I needed something. I'm just going to show you really quickly, and then we're going to let this dry, and then we'll come back in just a minute. You see here with the helmet, just going to tap on the tempera paint. And this is exactly what I did with this helmet, actually. Let's get it in a couple places. And that should be good, and we'll just set that off to the side. And I'll do that with some of his leg armor, which is right here. Again, the tempera paint is my favorite paint to use now. because it's really cheap and really forgiving. And so we'll just do that. All right, so that's all I'm going to need to do. And I'm going to go ahead and pause the camera, and I'm just going to do this with all the rest of his armor, and then we'll come back after it dries and I'll show you how we remove some of it and get the effect like we have here on the bigger helmet. All right, now that we let a lot of the tempera paint dry, this is a really simple process. I'm going to show you on, this is still a little bit wet, which is okay if it's still a little bit wet. It's just, you can see here, you're literally just going to wipe off what you want. Now this is still wet, so I just wanted to show you the difference. Just take off what you want. If you want them really dirty or not dirty. Come back in. Let's try another piece. Okay, so this area right here is really dry. Again, this takes about like 5-10 minutes to dry. Just take off what you want. And we'll come over here to a piece I already did, like this one here. Take off more. Alright, so onto the helmet. Some of this is still wet. That's alright, so we're going to take off a lot of this. Really should let this dry a little bit more, but again, I'm kind of a little bit in a rush. So even if you get like these smear marks, if you wait one more minute or less than a minute, you can come back in here again and just take it off. There you go. And so basically I'm going to try to get these helmets to look somewhat, not identical, but just kind of close. And then we're going to go back in. Let's see, this helmet's so small. Just going to keep going back in here and cleaning this up. Like right here, he's pretty clean right here. Just let that dry for a second and go back in. Got to get a clean finger. All right, so we'll just keep working on him, and then we're going to go in with the brown and do the exact same technique. And then once I get that done, we'll start working on the, well actually I did the pauldron. I want to work on his backpack a little bit and do some dry painting on it. There's this pauldron. Show you his belt. Again, if this is too much, let's take it off. Alright, so put this on, let it dry. Oh, I can show you here on the torso too. So this is, I let this dry. Maybe I want that, maybe I don't. Alright, we'll go ahead and add the sand color, and we're also going to add it to this one as well. Okay, so I went ahead and added the brown tempera, and so you can see the completed helmets, and I try to get them to match as much as possible. Just with a couple of things, pretty much the marks are on the left hand side of the helmet. I like how he came out. Still got to add his backpack, which we're going to do the dry painting on right now, so I just wanted to do a quick demonstration of that because again I'm on a time restraint. So this is the backpack. I did add some of the weathering. If the camera's going to focus in or not. But one thing that this really lacks is the detail with the plastic, the black plastic. So we're going to do some dry painting where you use some metallic. So actually what I do is I take this can, spray some on a piece of cardboard, and then I just dip a brush, and we're going to come in here and just do some highlighting. I'm going to show you how that works. Let's see, get this up here. This is just going to make some of the stuff stand out over here. Like on this equipment right here. And again, you just want to get a very little amount of paint. Get some of the hoses over here. Watch this. See that? Yep. Okay. It's a very simple process, and now all of a sudden things are starting to show up a lot more. Come in here. Let me do a couple things really fast. Get some of the edges. Also works great for scratch marks as well. Not like that. Alright, so hope you can tell it looks a little bit better, I think, than it did before. Let's do this hose up here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to glue this to the back. A little bit of hot glue. Oh, my paint's almost dried. Again, we're just doing just the highlight stuff. Got some areas right here. You know, let's just kind of rub the brush over it and just let it pick up paint where it picks it up. Now, unfortunately, because of time, I'm not going to be able to show this up on the wall and complete the diorama. So what we're going to do on the next video is we will take a look at this completed up on the wall, along with the other shelves that we did last week, as we get closer to getting everything completed on the Star Wars wall for that 1UP arcade. So there we go. See, it only took about 2 minutes, and it just totally brings out the backpack now. So that's it for now. I hope you guys have a fantastic Christmas and holiday, and hopefully we'll kind of get back to you by the end of this week. All right, talk to you real soon.